So hi everybody and welcome. Congratulations, you have made it to third semester. Well, sort of, kind of. So let me kind of explain this a little bit. And I'm going to go into it. Third semester, obviously, this is your part where you are actually going to be the paramedic. However, before you can start your official capstone, we have to first and foremost, we have to finish up all the ologies, okay? And I'm going to go into that very deeply into this video. Make sure that you don't jump ahead of yourself. It is very, very important that you don't do that. Now, with that being said, yeah, you can feel the force, but you can't quite yet control it, okay? But that's what the capstone's for, is to have a paramedic with you where you actually serve as the paramedic, okay? You should be making all the decisions. You should be making, doing all the interventions. The preceptor is there strictly to make sure that you don't hurt anybody and that you stay on the track and stay on the road. And again, they're going to let you make a few mistakes, and it's okay to make mistakes, but nothing that we can have where people get killed. That's the key thing there. So for third semester, it's divided into two phases, all right? There's no more ER ride times. There's no more ER time. There's no more OR time. Unless something bad has happened or you didn't do what you were supposed to do back in first and second semester. Now, if that's the case, you might have some extra clinicals to do, but we usually handle those on a case-by-case basis. Usually, once you get to third semester, there's 200 hours. The first 40 hours is while you're finishing the ologies, so you get a little bit of ride time. And just so you're aware, that's 3 shifts we usually do, so technically 42 hours. But again, and we very specifically separate those out. You have to be finished with all the core material. This is something that COAMP says. They say that you cannot start your capstone until that time. So during that time, we're going to be doing the DTAC. We're going to be doing your PALs because these again are not required by school. But what the capstone is, it is saying that you're ready to become a true paramedic, and that's what it's there for. All right. Now, hopefully, since we're starting third semester, you should have your preceptor assigned. Just remember, we reserve the right to assign you that preceptor at any time. That is our discretion. And you're going to then, once you guys get your assignment, you're going to go out to that preceptor. You're going to meet with them. You're going to go down the schedule with them and make sure that they're going to be there, okay? And you're going to have your preceptor sign the schedule, and then that is going to be submitted to the clinical coordinator. And at that point, he is going to put all of those rides into Platinum, all right? So unlike before where you got to choose, well, you sort of kind of get to choose, but you're going to choose with your preceptor, okay? Because, by the way, you're going to be the first in, just so you know. That's right. You've earned it. You've made it the third semester, all right? So with that being said, I'm going to tell you about the difference with the preceptors now. And this is Dennis Cronmiller, for those of you who don't know, Captain of Marion County Fire. But he was actually at Ocala Fire when he did my preceptorship many, many, many moons ago, and an incredible teacher. And I will tell you that I euphemistically called him Sensei because, quite frankly, you know, I had a great deal of respect for him. Even when I was, quote unquote, a peer with him, I was never a peer. He was always my teacher. And hopefully you develop that type of relationship with your preceptor, and I hope that you do, okay? So again, but for phase 1, this can be technically any person, all right? But when we get to phase 2, it really needs to be with that person that you're assigned. Now, there are some special exceptions to that. We do have a couple people out there that they actually tag team it. However, you're going to have that one primary preceptor, and that is the person who's going to be responsible for signing that you are ready to go. Now, if you get into a situation where the associate is there more than the actual paramedic is supposed to be precepting you, if that happens, you need to let the clinical coordinator know, and we can switch that around. But again, we want the person that's with you the most there signing the final clearance sheet, okay? And it should be the person that we assign, which is why you go over the schedule with them, okay? Again, some guys, they write out of class, they get moved. It happens. We understand that. They call in sick, they go on vacation. We understand that these things happen. However, again, the focus is we're going to stay with that person as much as we possibly can. Now, during the ologies, we're going to keep coamps happy. We're not going to do we're not going to be doing more than 3 of this. And guys, don't go in excess thinking that it's going to count for your capstone. I assure you, it is not. Okay, so only do 3 of these rides during that, and whatever that date is, that's what we'll talk about here in a second. But try to keep your assigned preceptor if possible. But it can be technically anybody during this time. All right, so on your syllabus, there's going to be a date when it says you may now start your capstones, okay? And this is always going to be literally the day after probably you're tested on all of the ologies, okay? So once you finish that, that's when your official capstone will begin. That official capstone, guys, we're past formative. We're now in you are supposed to be the paramedic, and that's what we want you to be. Okay, is the preceptor there to make sure you don't kill nobody? That's what they're there for. They're there to help you. But at the end of the day, you are the one that are technically supposed to be serving as the paramedic during this time. Okay, and again, they're only going to intervene when it becomes necessary. All right, hopefully. Sometimes some preceptors have a hard time sitting on their hands. It's part of the fun part of we get to kind of school and teach them. And again, when you get to this phase, you're going to be doing a per call critique, all right? And we call it that euphemistically the blue form, okay? And we'll talk about the blue form here in just a second. All right, so 2 checkpoints in the phase 2 rides. So at the end of phase 1, you've got a checkpoint. You need to have your preceptor fill it out. When you get to the end of phase 2, when you get into phase 2, you're going to have 2 of them, one halfway through at the 80-hour mark. When you hit the 80-hour mark, you're going to include that document in your documentation and planner, okay? And then you're going to have your final clearance form. So the last ride that you do, your preceptor is going to sign that, and hopefully Mark's cleared for it, all right? So, and again, this must be with your assigned preceptor. Yes, it is something that we definitely look at. So if somebody else signs that paper because they just happened to be there that day, wrong. We're going to shoot it back to you. We're going to have it. You go see the preceptor and get the proper signatures. Okay. All right. Now, what happens if my preceptor goes on vacation, has a sick day? Again, you're allowed to ride with that fill-in paramedic. But remember, this is a capstone event, and I will tell you that 80% of your rides has to be done by that paramedic or that assigned team of paramedics. Okay. So what if you're in that this team of paramedics thing again? And we will very clearly define that. And Lasapio and Langford, I know they kind of have team taught people in the past. So we kind of do that when we know somebody's riding up or out of class a lot. Is we will do that, but they're also that preceptor is usually around you while you're on scene most of the time. All right. So yes, they're going to be able to observe you and see what you really do. So I thought I had a really cool preceptor, but when I got into their wing, I found out that there was a real issue. All right. So guys, number 1, this happens. You get in there, you thought you got a hero, you got a 0. It does happen. Sometimes there's some personality conflicts, but it is better to let us know that up front, hopefully during your phase 1, so that we can reassign you another, but this usually comes at a cost, and that cost is we're going to have you restart your capstone. So in other words, all those hours that you did, you can still count the patient counts, but we're going to start you back over at 0. All right. So my point is try not to do this. All right. My preceptor gets hurt / reassigned, other life event that prevents them from continuing. Do I have to restart my capstone? In that case, usually no. However, again, as soon as you know about this, this is a great time to let your clinical coordinator and your lead instructor know immediately. Okay, let them know. Please don't do that. If you are not doing well with a preceptor, by the way, I will tell you, don't come to us and say, I don't think this is working out. You only got 40 hours left in your capstone. I mean, you can do that. But I can also tell you that you'll be doing a whole nother capstone. Okay. So again, if you really want to do that, we can do that, but I will tell you that. And I will also tell you that when we move you in a case like that, I'm going to tell you that we pick who you go to. And we also pick, and it's usually going to be one of our instructors that's also a part-time lab instructor here. Again, you're definitely going to be under a microscope at that point, okay? And yes, by the way, we've got a lot of instructors in a lot of places, so keep that in mind if you decide that maybe you want to change preceptors halfway through. It's probably not going to happen. But again, I will also tell you, I'm not going to leave you somebody that you're so miserable that you can't learn. That's kind of crazy, all right? Now, my preceptor got to the final evaluation, and he says, you're not ready yet. Okay. Again, first things first is you really need to let us know about that. I can't stress that part enough. Is you really need to let us know if you're having issues, and hopefully your lead instructor is communicating with your preceptor. But there's are going to be times this happens, okay, and they think that you need to cook a little bit longer. All right, and we are aware of that, and we're going to very specifically make up a performance improvement plan so that you can graduate and hopefully on time. But again, if it's not that, we might have to extend your capstone, and we usually do that 10 rides at a time, and we go out to 20 rides. We might actually have you repeat the capstone if we think that you're not progressing. We're going to put you with another one just to make sure it's not a conflict of personalities or an issue with that paramedic. I can tell you again, and you will receive an F or incomplete based upon the recommendation of your lead instructor when that happens if you have to repeat, okay? The point is let us know about this early. The sooner you let us know, the sooner we can intervene and the sooner we can help you, okay? Because there might be a case where, hey, yeah, something's not right. It might be a brand new preceptor. They're not meeting your needs. Again, but it also might be that you need some help, and we need to get you that help in order to make you, again, a competent paramedic. And that's what we're truly evaluating. Are you a competent person? And I will tell you that we've had people that have extended rides. It happens, okay? I would say probably 3 to 4 a year. This happens. And usually, by the way, we meet on a case-by-case basis, and we'll put you with a second or even third preceptor. But again, if you cannot show competency as a paramedic, I will tell you that, yes, we can dismiss you for that. I will also tell you in the 15 years that I've been here at the college now as of making of this video, I think I've only seen that one time. So again, we're very cognizant of this. And again, we're going to get you the help that you need. Now, we talked about the blue form a little bit earlier. This is and this is our used to be. This is not the actual form. The real actual form, I couldn't find it when I was putting in but it was on a blue piece of paper, and that's why we call it the blue form. But it's a call critique form. You're going to add this just as if you were going to add a 2021 form on every call that you do in third semester. Okay. The first 40 is to kind of get you into the feel of it. After that is there, when you get to the capstone, every call, all right? Every patient. You're going to have the 2021 form, you have the call critique form. Again, you and your preceptor are going to sit down after every call and go through what you did, the good things that happened, the not so good things that happened, and how you can improve, okay? So again, and they might say, hey, you did a really good job, so guess what? Congratulations, we don't need anything to improve on, okay? So again, this should work when you get back. You sit down, you talk about the call, or maybe as you're coming back to the call, you can do all this. What went good, what didn't go good, and then give some constructive criticism, hopefully, that you will get better. Again, we're going to do this every time. Let me say that again, every time. If you send in a report without the call critique form, we're going to ship it back to you and say, try again. All right? No questions about that. All right. So, again, recap of the changes. Again, blue form on every call. Overall eval at the end of every shift. We're still going to do that. Okay. 40 hours for phase 1, and then 160 hours for phase 2. Okay. Now, if there are any issues, you got to let your lead instructor know. And if I will tell you that if we do have to change it, more than likely we're going to make you start the capstone again. It's kind of a case-by-case basis on how we do that. But I will tell you that if we think you are the problem, we're probably going to have you repeat the capstone. That's just the way that the world works, and and again, that's the penalty, if you will, for changing a preceptor at your request. Okay. Now, again, if there's any type of questions, we're going to let the clinical coordinator know, your lead instructor know. And again, if there's still an issue, okay, you need to contact me at that point, because we need to make sure, what else can be done. Okay. I don't want you guys doing 3 sets of capstones. It's torture. I don't want you to do it. I want you to do it once. I want you to be done. I want you to go out there and show your proficiency. And even if maybe you need to cook a little bit longer, that's okay too. Again, we do that in a very systematic, the last one that I was actually involved in, guys, she had a 10 shift. After 3 shifts, the preceptor came to me and said, no, she's solid. And again, we stopped it right then and there, and congratulations, he signed the paper. Have a nice day. Okay. And that's what we're after. Okay. So that is the recap of the changes that we are doing for this 3rd semester. And if you got any questions, again, get with your lead instructor, get with me. We will be happy to discuss any of it. But the one thing I want to stress to you is that if you're having issues with your instructor, I can't stress this enough, folks. Have us intervene early. Your lead instructor is there for a reason, and you'll be surprised, some visits from them, and hopefully your lead instructor is coming out to see you at these sites. I know that I try to stop in when my duties allow me to, and I try to get out there to say, hey, how's it going? How is this process going? And we want to do that. All right. Well, good luck. And if, again, any questions, 1418 is my extension. Feel free to get a hold of me. Okay. And I'll see you on the next one.